I just want to welcome you to the new prenatal class that I'm going to start. It's the very first one. I decided to do it because I really wanted to make sure that people who are looking for breastfeeding information, that they're going to get it by looking up maybe like prenatal class or looking up specific items, like specific topics. Hold on just a minute here. I'm trying to arrange things so that I have my information that I need. Because what I want to do is I want to kind of like follow what I made like this specific plan when I used to work at WIC, and I used to teach classes, and I would print out these forms and give them to the mothers, and so that's the form I'm using, and then I'm going to find a way to link it. I see some stray hairs there, so that I kind of want to be able to see that at the same time as I'm talking to you. So today's class is going to be on pumping exclusively. I noticed that there is a big trend in mothers who have decided that they want to give their baby breast milk, but they don't want to put the baby to the breast. And you'll hear people say that that's not as good, that it's not the same benefits. Or you'll see some people just aren't as, especially you may find certain specialists that will say, that you should put the baby to the breast. Now, yes, putting the baby to the breast changes things a little bit. But pumping, if a mom chooses to strictly pump, actually, I would say that's quite a task to take on, and you're definitely courageous and should be commended, because it's not going to be easy to pump exclusively versus putting the baby to the breast. It's going to be more difficult. So I have seen many moms who just strictly pump. They don't put the baby to the breast. And it could be for a number of reasons. And none of us out there should judge whether a mother chooses to formula feed, whether a mother chooses to breastfeed, whether a mother chooses to breastfeed basically the breast milk, but not putting the baby to the breast. The other option, the other thought could be somebody who wants to pump and give the breast milk to someone else. Or to the milk bank. This can be, the things that I will talk about can also really kind of be used for moms who are going back to work and pumping kind of thing. So there's some things here that would benefit a mom who is going to pump sometimes. But basically, this is for all you moms out there who want to strictly pump. And it is possible, and there are great benefits in it. The difference that would be like a pumping versus breastfeeding, besides the fact that you're not dealing with, pumps and bottles and all that kind of stuff, the difference is there's a couple. When you put the baby to the breast, moms will say, there's just a special feeling of looking at your baby, and watching your baby suck the breast or whatever. So a lot of moms will make up that by holding the baby close and within that same distance, so that the baby sees mom's face while he or she is eating. Now, the difference in putting the baby to the breast versus just pumping, when it comes to actual technical, breastfeeding type of thing, is that when the baby breastfeeds on the breast, the areola, if you look at the areola, which is the brown skin around the nipple, you will see little bumps, specifically closer to the nipple. You don't tend to see them at the round, the ends part of the areola, but more centered towards the nipple. Those little bumps actually secrete like an oil that protects your nipple in that area, but it also reads the baby's saliva. So when the baby's sucking, the saliva goes into these holes, these little, I shouldn't say holes, but these little bumps, and it tells the body basically what antibodies that baby needs. So that's kind of like one of the reasons why the benefit of putting them to the breast is a little bit more than if you were to just pump and give the baby breast milk. But breast milk is the point that we're trying to really get moms to do, is to feed her baby human milk. And whether you put them to the breast or give them a bottle, what's the most important thing is that they get that breast milk. Now, that is not to say or to make a mom who formula feeds feel bad because she's not giving her baby breast milk, because that's not what I'm here to do. I am strictly going to educate and talk about breastfeeding, and I'm also going to talk about other things. And if you have ideas of what you think would be good videos to share that you think a lot of moms would want to know, I would love to have you comment below, and I will be sure to include that topic in a class. I will also make classes or videos, I should say, answering questions that are posted. So if I find that there's a lot of questions or a lot of people that have the same questions, I will do a video strictly on answering those questions. Or if it's not a whole lot of questions, I will just add it to a video, or I will make that class on that topic. So definitely, as you're watching this video, if you feel that there's other questions that you have, comment below, email me. That's kind of like the quickest response you can get, but I do watch the comments and I do read them. So please, be sure to comment. Be sure to subscribe so that you can get updates as I post. So basically, I'm sorry, the World Health Organization, they give the 4 top infant feeding choices. And of course, the first one is breastfeeding. The second one is mom's own expressed milk. So that's where you fall, right there in that top 4. Then the third one is donor human milk. And then the fourth one would be non-human milk or formula. So that's kind of the order in which World Health Organization gives as far as infant feeding choices. Now, if you've made the choice to pump your milk and to feed your baby, that's a very commendable, as I said, choice. But it is important to note that pumping is going to take more time and work, but you can still be successful at it. And also remember, if your baby is having trouble breastfeeding, nearly all problems are fixable and can be transitioned, and you can transition your baby back to the breast at any time. That alone is a video. So if you have that situation going on at home, definitely you can contact me, and I can answer your questions and help you privately, as well as be sure to talk about that in a video another time, just so that other moms out there have that information. And of course, this is the prenatal class, but I am going to post this as a postnatal class as well, because I want it to, I know some moms may choose this after the baby's born. So I want to make sure mom has that and is able to watch that. So what you're going to need to express your milk, you're going to first need to establish your milk supply. The best way to get started, especially if you're going to pump, you really need a hospital grade pump for the first, I would say, like 2 to 4 weeks. Usually you can, once you get that supply built up, you can maintain that supply using a personal pump after that 4 weeks. I'm sorry, my nose always itches every time I do a video. I don't know why. So definitely, if it's possible, try to rent or loan a hospital grade pump from the hospital that you have the baby, or it can be at WIC. If you are on WIC, they offer that as well. Typically, I did work for WIC, so I know that the kind of like the rules to get a pump are like, okay, first it's a mom and baby who are separated. That's like the top one. A preemie. So if a baby's born extremely early, mom will qualify for a pump. So those are the top two. So if there's a mom, if WIC has 2 pumps and there's a mom out there that has a preemie, then she's going to get one of those pumps first before you would. But if they have available pumps and you want to pump exclusively, not getting formula at all from WIC, then they will supply you a hospital grade pump at no charge. So, and definitely the 2 to 4 weeks, they can provide you it for that amount of time. Staying exclusively breastfeeding on WIC would provide you many more benefits than if you are partial. They tend to not like to give out pumps for a mom who is partial, so she's getting formula as well as she's pumping. So the benefits are a little bit different when you go partial, but that doesn't mean that you can't get help. Definitely reach out to them if your plan is to exclusively pump. Even if, your plan is to exclusively pump, most likely there'll be times when you might have to pull out formula. And you tend to get like samples in the mail. So that, or if you get some from the hospital, or if you get it as a gift or whatever, you have it in your cupboard, you have it put away for, a situation where you might need it. There's nothing wrong with that. And most moms at one time or another will use formula. And I will be doing a video on formula, the proper way to make it. I will not do any bashing of formula because I had to use it and many moms have to use it. I don't like it, not because I'm so pro breastfeeding, but because it causes so much digestive issues, or I should say it caused so many digestive issues for my children. And I wish I could have not had to use it, but there were times I had to. And in my case, I did not have a pump. I didn't know anything about pumping. And if I had, I probably could have avoided formula altogether in certain cases. So I had always had to work. If I was a stay-at-home mom, I probably could have been, one who breastfed their baby till they were 1 or 2. I would always put the baby to the breast. I would never have pumped exclusively because I felt like pumping was too difficult. But that was me. That's definitely not something I'm against. It's just something that I personally would have done. So definitely you're going to definitely need a good pump. after you establish your milk supply, and I'm going to add, if you cannot get a hospital grade pump, that's okay. A personal pump will still help you. I know moms who that's all she strictly did. So don't feel bad if you cannot find a hospital grade pump and all you can find or all you have is the pump that you buy. I'm going to recommend, though, pumps are not all equal. So there are some that just do not do well on pumping and some pumps are very painful. And to add to the painful part, you do not have to have the pump on this high suction speed where there's pain, but you have it on high because you think you're going to get more milk. No, it's actually the opposite, because if you're in pain, you're not relaxed. And when you're not relaxed, the hormones cannot really release to let the body and the milk release. So just putting the pump at a suction level that is the highest you can go that is pain-free. That's the important part. But there are pumps out there that just are not very good and they are painful. What I'm going to mention is that the two pumps that I know of that are very good for strictly pumping is the Medela personal pump and the Amida pump. Now, I personally have a stronger liking to the Medela personal pump versus the Amida. I don't know why. Even the Amida hospital grade, I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I felt like it was harder to put together, or I'm not sure, but I just always preferred giving out the personal use pumps versus the Amida. I don't know why, but they're both good. They both are, as you know, but they're both equal. Now, another point to add to that is that WIC will give you a personal pump, either an Amida or Medela, whichever one they have in stock, if you are exclusively breastfeeding and you're working. You have to work, I believe it's more than 24 hours, but every WIC every WIC agency, wherever you're going, is different. They can say, we're fine if it's 20 hours. Some can say you have to have 25. Some might say you have to have 40. But as long as you are pumping exclusively, they can give you that pump. I wish that they could give the pumps to moms who just want to pump exclusively. And there are probably some WIC agencies that will do that, but not all. And the one I worked for, they didn't. They wouldn't give pumps to moms who were not putting the baby to the breast. If you're putting the baby to the breast, you can get one. So my suggestion would be try to put the baby to the breast, a little bit. And then that way, if you want a pump, you can say, yes, I put the baby to the breast, a couple times a day, whatever, and then get that pump, so just putting the baby to the breast a few times, once a day, whatever, if that's what will give you the pump, I would do that. And then afterwards, whatever you do, that's up to you, because that pump is yours. So that point is very important. And then you're going to need a good pump. That's the number one. Then you need bottles and extra pump parts. So you usually will get a kit with the pump that you buy or that you get at WIC. It comes with one kit. I would suggest buying an extra one or just buying extra parts. You don't have to buy a whole kit, but you could just buy parts for the kit, like maybe the rubber hose part, the nipple shields, those kinds of things. Now, a lot of times stores will have their own brand. So as long as you make sure that you get a brand that works with your specific pump. And another point to mention is that pumps are not meant to last longer than about 3 years. The pumping suction part of it can take it, that doesn't last very long, and that's really an important part to the pump. So using somebody's old one is not recommend. Actually, using anybody's is not recommended. They do not recommend that you use somebody else's pump or that you buy a used pump, because they're not made for multi-users. And what that means is there is no safety measures put on that pump so as to not pass germs or bacteria from one mom to the other. Now, yes, they have made it so that milk is not supposed to get into the tubing, but sometimes it does. It still can. And so they just put out the warning there that they do not recommend using. And like I said, it's just because of the safety measures that are put on a multi-user pump versus a personal use pump. And I don't believe that they sell multi-users like at stores. You would have to buy it from their website, and they're very, very expensive. And that's what you would get from WIC to borrow or loan. It would be through it would be a multi-user pump, and it would only be one that you would rent. It's not one they give to you for free. The next thing is that you would need breast milk storage bags. That's really, really important. You can make your own, basically like Ziploc bags, and write in the date. You can use ice trays to put your milk in and then store those. That's some things you can do. You can look up ideas that moms have. Pinterest might have some, different things. If I find something, I will post it so that you can, I'll add it to the bottom of the video so that you can, check it out. So that's under the part of what you will need. Now, to begin pumping, you need to begin pumping right after birth and pump every 2 hours after that. So right away, what I would suggest is when you're in the hospital to breastfeed, with your breast, like put the baby to the breast. That will really help your supply and build your supply, because getting that baby or a pump to your breast as much as possible, not every 2 hours. I would do it just whenever the baby is hungry or every time the baby makes noise. Either put the baby to the breast or pump a little bit. Hold the baby, because that's going to help your milk increase, like when it's going to start making it. Not making it because your body already has it, but releasing it and increasing it. So putting the baby to the breast as often as possible, or pumping as much as you can in those first 2 days at the hospital, is really the best thing you can do. Every 2 hours after that. So when you're at home, the best thing to do is to pump every 2 to 3 hours. Now, a baby can tend to be hungry every hour and a half. So you can find, basically, you need to pump or feed between 8 to 12 times a day. So fitting in extra pumping so that you can make sure that the baby gets what they need and that the milk is ready when the baby's there. So if you're pumping every 2 hours and you're storing up some milk in the fridge and the baby's eating every hour and a half, you're okay. So getting started right away and storing it right away is the best. Now, when you're in the very beginning, when you're at the hospital, if you pump, you're not going to get very much because the baby only needs like a drop of milk. And it's colostrum, and colostrum is a different consistency. It's very thick and like honey, so sometimes it doesn't really get through the pump and into the bottle. So hand expression is really good during that time, because you can hand express it into a spoon and then put it into a bottle, or you can hand express it directly into a bottle, or you can, feed your baby, however you choose, whatever you decide at that time. Now, it's important to pump often to establish your breast storage capacity. So in those first few days, I would say within that first week, your body is laying, it's called receptors. It's laying receptors in the breast. And the more receptors in the breast, the more milk that your body can hold, because each receptor holds milk. So every time that baby is put to the breast, it's creating more receptors. And the point is, we want as many receptors laid as possible. If a mom is not able to put the baby to the breast at all that first week, there's like hardly any receptors. So the amount of the amount of milk that your breast could store would be less, which means you would be pumping or feeding more often in order to give the baby enough, the milk you need. So that's one of the reasons why we say pumping or feeding every chance you can get, every time the baby makes noise, and then every 2 hours after that. I always would do like every 2 hours during the day, and then at night I would do every 3. So that's, and as baby gets older, you'll be able to pump less because you'll be able to get more out in a certain time period, and so you'll be able to do maybe every 4 hours or every 5. So it depends on how much you're able to pump up, how much your milk is able to store. So that's very important. The less you pump or feed, the less capacity you have, and therefore the more you will need to pump each day to feed your baby exclusively. So that's just the point that I made. You will need to pump 8 to 12 times a day, and you will need to choose those times. You need to stick with the same times every day. So if you are not, how do I want to put it? If you are not sticking to the same times every day, then you confuse the body and it doesn't really know when to make the milk and have it ready. So sticking to the same times every day, the body will then make the milk knowing that you're coming, knowing that you are going to be needing that feed. It will provide the amount that you need, and it will make sure it's there every time. So the most important thing is just knowing that it's 8 to 12 times a day. After about 6 weeks, you might be able to start doing 8 to 10, and then you'll be able to just get down to 8. So my goal in the beginning would be 12 times, and then you could slowly go down until you hit 8, and then 8 pretty much throughout the rest of the time you're pumping. The point again is to set your pump at the highest comfortable setting, no higher and no lower. So you want to get as much suction as you can, but you do not want to be in pain. So just get it as high as you can that you're comfortable at, and then don't go higher or lower. Massaging your breasts before pumping and hand expressing the last few drops at the end of the pumping will really give you can almost get an extra ounce by just doing those things. And by massaging your breast, you're basically just getting it ready for the pump. You're massaging it. You can kind of like massage the nipple a little bit as well, and that will kind of like just get the whole thing going there. Practice hands-on pumping. This is kind of like a new steps that they have kind of like really taught everybody. It's like new information basically. So hands-on pumping means to massage both breasts, which is what we just talked about. Double pump, which means you're pumping from both breasts at the same time. Stop pumping, repeat your massage. Single pump or hand express on one and then the other. Alternate right to left or left to right until milk flow slows down. So I will make sure to post this at the bottom so that you can look at this and know, because this hands-on pumping they have found is a new technique and it really, really works. So I'll make sure that I put that at the bottom of this video. So that's pretty much it on the pumping exclusively class. And hopefully I touched on everything to help you get started. If you're watching this and you have the baby already, it shouldn't be too hard to follow. But if it's new and maybe you've never had a baby before, it might seem a little bit, it might be overwhelming you. If you feel stressed about it, or you just need to express yourself, feel free to email me. I will respond to you definitely. I will not ignore any comments or any emails. And if I have to, we can work together by phone or even by FaceTime, Skype, whatever. And if I have to just do a video for you personally, I will do that. So whatever I can do to help you, that's what I'm going to be here to do. So hopefully all that information was good and not too much for you. And if there's any questions you have, please leave them in the comments. Please subscribe and please share the information that you've learned with your friends and family who may also need it. I hope everything works out for you. You guys all have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Oh, let me just mention, I said that I would most likely at the end of the video or in the video description, I will put next week's discussion, and I'll be sure to do that. I haven't made that decision yet, but I will be making that decision. I'll be thinking about it after this video, and I'll make sure to put it in. All right, so you guys have a great day. Bye.